I want to introduce some of the elected officials and former elected officials who took the time to come today. Former Mayor John Garrett, still doing a great job for the city. Where's John? Right behind you there. City Councilwoman, Vice President of the City Council, she's here somewhere, Melinda Barrett. There we go. And of course, our Lieutenant Governor. Oh, I'm sorry.
Before the Lieutenant Governor, let's go.
The Lieutenant Governor, Mike McGonigal. City Councilman Mike McGonigal, thank you very, very much for coming. And of course, the Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and we wouldn't be standing here today without her help in making this program go forward, Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito. We also are joined with us by the head of the Collins Center, which helped to make this happen, and former Mayor of Fall River. You're not the head of the Collins Center?
Well, no, I'm affiliated with them, but I'll be happy to introduce Steve McGoldrick, who is the head of the Collins Center.
Steve McGoldrick helped me get started.
That's right.
13 years ago, when I was elected as mayor, 14 years ago, time flies, by doing a reorganization study of City Hall. Senator Kate Ives is busy with a brand new baby, but she sent Dennis Marcello, her chief of staff, here today. I want to tell you a little bit about how the 311 Center gets started, and then I'd like to have a few words from some of the other guests, particularly our Lieutenant Governor. The 311 Center is something that I've talked about and dreamt about and thought about for all of the 14 years, the 13 and a half years that I've been in office. But it's been very, very difficult because of money, and that's where we're so grateful to Lieutenant Governor Polito and our state delegation. About 13 years ago, I went to Somerville, and I saw what they had done with what was called the CityStat program, getting statistics about how many people were calling. They weren't a call center at that time. They were a statistical center. They called it Somerstat. I was interested, but 13 years ago, we were laying off all sorts of people in the city, and it wasn't possible. They had 6 full-time employees. It wasn't possible to hire 6 people while we were talking about closing the library, laying people off on the highway department. That just wasn't going to fly. You weren't on the council back then, Melinda, but I kind of suspect you might not have voted.
I might have been in the town.
You might not have voted for that. We're joined here by City Councilor Colin LePage. Thank you very much for joining us. And then, so we put that on the burner for a little while. And then a few years back, 5 or 6 years back, I paid another visit to Somerville, always a technology leader, and I brought my technology task force, and we saw how they had evolved into a 311 call center. One call to City Hall, you only need to know one number, 311, and I was very excited about it, but we still didn't have the money a few years ago. So at that particular time, I worked with my DPW director, Mike Stankovich, and said, let's see if we can do this for no money by having an automated 311 system where you call and you punch a bunch of numbers similar to what businesses do to you. And we worked on this. And we actually put in for grant to have a regional 311 system that would include Haverhill and Methuen and Lawrence, similar to what the regional 911 program did. We didn't get that particular grant, and in retrospect, I'm glad we didn't, because I don't know that a regional center would have worked. And then a few years ago, I went in to see Tom Menino just before he died, and I looked at, along with David Van Dam, and I looked at their constituent services center. They weren't a regional center, and they weren't a 311, but they had one number to call for City Hall. And I talked to Mayor Menino, always a great inspiration for me, and I told him what we were thinking about doing. And he said, Jimmy, forget it. You don't want to have people punch in a bunch of numbers. That's just crazy. You want people to get a person when they call. And that's really where this started. And I said, you know what, you're really right, Tom. That is what we want. But we still couldn't afford it. So then along came the Baker-Polito administration, and they came up with a community compact where communities would sign and get a small grant in order to implement best practices. So we submitted our application for a community compact, and what we said was going to be our best practice was implementing a one-call service center to 311. And we got the community compact money, $15,000. This enabled us to hire the Collins Center, and the Collins Center put in for us to get a second grant for technology for $60,000, and that's how all this gets started. And then with the assistance of the City Council, we put this in last year's budget. They voted for it, and thank you so much for doing that. And today we're here to announce the official opening of our 311 system. So with that, I'd like to introduce the Lieutenant Governor of Massachusetts, our Lieutenant Governor, who's worked so well with the City of Haverhill, Lieutenant Governor Karen Pallino.
Mr. Mayor, I have been to the city in all the seasons. One of my first visits was on a beautiful sunny day when I got a ride in your chariot. This is not a day I want to take a ride with the convertible top down, but I'm really happy to be here. This is a great story to tell and to highlight, spotlight, and what you're doing here in Haverhill will serve as an example for other communities to learn from and perhaps embed into their community. I want to thank Mayor Fiorentini for his leadership as a municipal leader. When we were getting started in our administration, we called on a number of municipal leaders, mayors and managers, local officials to advise us on how we can be a better and stronger and more reliable state partner to cities and towns across our Commonwealth. And of course, I invited Mayor Fiorentini to that advisory group. And he helped us inform our ideas around creating this Community Compact Best Practices program. What I love about the Community Compact program is that it reaches every city and town in our Commonwealth. Rural, suburban, large or smaller city, there's something for everyone because it's your compact. Every single one is unique. And the fact is in the numbers that it's working. 270 communities have applied to the Best Practices Community Compact program, and we have in fact awarded 252 community compacts in our Commonwealth. That is success, and we want to thank you for helping us create a program that that I came here to sign the community compact with the city councilors here in Haverhill. And you did indeed decide that one of your best practices would be around this 311 call system to better engage the citizenry around how they can call City Hall and get the direct service and answer and information that they need. And with a community now over 60,000 people, a system like this is very meaningful and really does hit to the heart of the quality of life for the people we all serve here in Haverhill. So thank you for signing up for the best practice. I was pleased that we could invite the Collins Center and Ed Lambert and Steve to the table to help Haverhill design a system that would work here in this community. And then you did one thing more. Because you were a community compact member, you were then able to apply to the IT grant program for further funds to help implement this best practice. And you had to put together an application to compete with 100 applications. We awarded a little over 50 awards in the IT grant round. So your application really did stand out above and beyond others. And I'm pleased that you were able to receive the $60,000, coupled with the funds that you've approved as city councilors here in Haverhill. You now have the ability to offer a 311 system, and the people in this community need to just know 3 numbers to connect to City Hall, 311. Congratulations to all of you. Of how important it is for our administration to have this strong partnership with our cities and towns. You will be hearing us release our budget this week, which will include our promise of increasing local aid at the same percentage growth in our state revenue growth. and also increases to Chapter 78. We'll also continue to be a reliable partner on Chapter 90 funds. Those are your bread and butter dollars for your sidewalks and your roads, and just making sure that you have the resources to do your work, the grant funds to be able to take on initiatives like the 311 system, and then through the Municipal Modernization Act that we were able to get passed with the leadership of this mayor and others, you now have tools within your departments here at City Hall to better deliver service to the people who live here. So overall, we are making Massachusetts a stronger and better Commonwealth through our 351 cities and towns. So congratulations to all of you. Thank you for working so closely with our administration. It's a pleasure and honor to be here to mark this moment. There are now 6 communities that have a 311 system. So you are definitely on the forefront and pioneering in this area of communication with your citizenry. I want to thank Ed Lambert and Steve at the Collins Center and UMass for really helping develop these best practices, because the devil's in the details, and you have the expertise and the professionalism to help these communities implement these best practices. We have over 700 underway in the Commonwealth. I think 75% of them are near completion. So think about best practices like financial forecasting, budgeting, capital planning, housing plans, energy efficiency, environmental resiliency. All of these kinds of things are happening at the local level. I get super excited about these things, and I know you do too. But it's really making a difference at the grassroots level, which is where it all really matters. So I want to thank you for having me. Pleased to join in the announcement, and I'd like to turn it over to Ed and to Steve to say a few words from the Collins Center.
Governor, thank you very much. And how energizing is it, particularly on a day when we're all reminded that sometimes we take municipal services for granted, except when it snows and our trash doesn't get picked up. And so to hear someone speaking with such passion about these issues is something very heartening. But I just want to say on behalf of UMass Boston and the Collins Center and our Chancellor Keith Motley, how happy and proud we are to be part of this announcement and to be kept busy by the Lieutenant Governor across the Commonwealth with other partners, engaging municipal governments in ways that help connect people in more significant ways to their government. When UMass Boston was founded 50 years ago, our founding chancellor, Chancellor Ryan, charged us to stand with the city. And in doing so, we recognize we have a special role within the UMass system and as the public research university in the capital city to ensure that every part of the state benefits from the kind of research that our faculty and staff do on a regular basis. The Collins Center helped us bring that effort to a new level over 10 years ago when the legislature created it. Steve McGoldrick, not only a very experienced municipal manager himself, but brings a great team to these kinds of projects. And they're the kinds of things that we're very, very pleased and proud to be involved in. And so we have a lot of folks to thank as well. Our friends in the legislature, the senator and Chairman Dempsey have been very supportive of the efforts of the Collins Center. And certainly the Lieutenant Governor not only has been supportive, but has really connected the dots, I think, between state government and municipal leaders. I was reminded when I was driving up from Fall River today, so when I went from rain to snow, I was reminded of that first winter that you and the governor were truly challenged in the amount of time you spent on the phone with municipal officials to make sure that state government was helping them out. So not only have you been supportive in local aid issues, but this kind of technical stuff that really makes a difference in people's lives. The ability to be able to call your city hall, to call your government and have them respond. So Lieutenant Governor, you are a great partner, not only for the Collins Center, but for municipalities around the Commonwealth. We're very appreciative of that. And last but not least, thanks to my friend, Mayor Fiorentini. You know, mayors oftentimes can make the mistake of kind of looking inward. And this mayor has been innovative. He's looked outside for partnerships that help produce this kind of announcement. And as such, Haverhill is one of a handful of cities innovating in this way. And so we're very, very pleased to be here in the great city of Haverhill and very thankful to be part of these ongoing and continuing announcements.
Thank you so much.
Can I just ask one more quick? Sorry, Superintendent. First first of all, I served in the House of Representatives for 10 years, and both the governor and I served as selectmen in our respective hometowns. And that experience has informed me well in my work now as your lieutenant governor. I want to just point out that your Senator Ives and Chairman Dempsey are a great team in your delegation here that really advocate for the interests here of Haverhill and this greater area. And for municipal issues, when I was advocating for funds for the Community Compact Program and regionalization funds and the IT grant, they really stepped up and made sure that these funds were available in the budget. And we're proposing a package of $8.8 million of grants in the next budget that we certainly hope to have their support on too. But Chairman Dempsey and the Senator have been terrific friends to our municipalities and to our administration. We appreciate the ability to work across party lines in a bipartisan way, get a lot of things done, which is certainly what we need to see more of in government.
Thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor. And it has been an incredible amount of work setting up the 311 Center, much more so than I really understood. Just the technology of it, having all of our software programs being able to interface with one 311 application, and we're working on that. And the Collins Center, by making that grant possible, made that possible. But the technology of the human factor, getting people trained to answer each call in each department, was an incredible experience. And that wouldn't have happened without our 311 director, who's done a wonderful job in setting this up. And I'd like her to come up and say a few words. Allison Hartman.
Without our state legislators, and our local counselors and our Collins Center, and I want to point out the other people who have been dealing with this day by day with me from day one, and that is our department heads who are all in the back. So thank you very much. I'm not going to go through everybody, but I just want to express my gratitude for your patience, your talent. Did I say patience? And other than that, besides the department heads who have been on my side, I've had Tanya and Ruben from the Collins Center who have been calming me down, who have been talking me off the edge, who have been educating me, and who have been great leaders throughout this whole process. Allison Colby Campbell, who's taken all the pictures. Again, everyone here has a part of this success. She's been helping us with our marketing plan. Again, thank you to the counselors for your support. And the chamber, hello, what a great turnout. But most importantly, besides the mayor, my fabulous employees who aren't here, out here, but because they're working. I have to say, I am very blessed to have found two fantastic women. One is part-time, Ellen Case, hello. And the second one is Victoria Torres. She is my right-hand woman. She's my full-timer. She speaks Spanish, which is fantastic for this community. We're helping to, bridge the gap between our Spanish-speaking population and the City Hall. So she's been fantastic. So I wouldn't be here without the mayor. I am proud to be part of this, part of your dream, to focus on customer service. So thank you for trusting me. And I'm excited to see what happens in 2017. So thank you all.
All right, are we ready? At the count of three. No, we're not ready.
Hold on, I got a job.
Now are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Open for business.
So